So we've been working with the Noble Eightfold Path. And as we do it, we recognize, as we practice with the Noble Eightfold Path, we recognize that there's no part of our lives that isn't touched by Dhamma, that can't be actually imbued with Dhamma. So we're quite fortunate to be engaging with this path of practice that leads to full liberation, if that's where we're headed, if that's what we're wanting. And it may be that, I don't know about full liberation. I just want to live with compassion. This path can support us in doing that as well. So I was thinking about the aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path that we're kind of landing on and starting to deepen our understanding of, which is Wise Livelihood. And what came to mind was this really sweet exchange in, I think it's the Digha Nikaya, maybe it's the Samyutta Nikaya, I don't remember which suttas. That there's this exchange between the Buddha and one of his disciples. And it's so delightful, the joy that they take in each other. And one of the reasons I think there's so much joy and delight that they are mutually taking in each other is because the practitioner is asking questions that are related to awakening, that are related to this Noble Eightfold Path. And whenever the practitioner asks a question, the Buddha says, good. You're, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember the exact words, but he's essentially saying you're asking the right questions. These are questions that are related to awakening. And then the Buddha will offer his advice, his vision, his suggestions, and the practitioner is delighted. And I think, again, because the Buddha is meeting him in his wish to awaken. So one of the questions that this heart asks, because he's a genuine seeker, as all of us are here, one of the questions he asks is, in what way is a wise person of great wisdom? In what way is a wise person of great wisdom? So again, you can hear in his question, like, his genuineness, his sincerity, his wanting to live a life of wisdom. And the Buddha says, a wise person of great wisdom does not intend for their own affliction or the affliction of others or the affliction of both. Just very moved by that because we're living in a world today where out of a deep confusion, we are inflicting pain on each other, not across the board. There are communities, groups of people who are caring for each other, who are being of benefit, not only to themselves, but their loved ones, strangers. So it's important to remember that. So the Buddha says a wise person of great wisdom does not intend for their own affliction or the affliction of others or the affliction of both. Rather, they think only of their own welfare, the welfare of others, the welfare of both, and the welfare of the whole world. It is in this way that one is a wise person of great wisdom. And you can hear in this a heart that is full of wisdom. It's just attuning, starting to turn toward, attune to, and resonate with what's beneficial, what's actually wholesome, right? And in the Noble Eightfold Path, we're encouraged to do this by okay, what are some wholesome intentions that I can cultivate? The heart's starting to attune to not causing harm through our actions, right? Letting go of greed through renunciation and generosity. Letting go of ill will through loving kindness, benevolence, standing near all things with warmth and care, our own experience, that of other people. And then letting go of cruelty through compassion, having a direct, honest encounter with the suffering of our world, and letting that touch us so deeply that the only response, or one of the responses, is the wish to alleviate pain, difficulty, challenge, what the Buddha called anukampa, compassionate action. So with the Noble Eightfold Path, the heart is resonating to wise intention, then wise speech. That intention starts to fill and imbue our words, starts to fill and imbue our actions. And then not only does it imbue and fill our actions in our personal lives, but in our work lives, our livelihood, right? And the Buddha encourages us, this is from Bhikkhu Bodhi in his book, The Noble Eightfold Path. He says, the Buddha encourages us to earn our living by legal means, not illegally, peacefully, without coercion or violence. One should acquire it honestly, not by trickery or deceit. And then the Buddha, very clearly, he was really straight up about this. He was like, these are unwholesome ways of acquiring money. Trading in weapons, trading in meat production and butchery. So are we causing harm not only to humans, but to animals, these sentient beings who experience pain and just long for peace and conflict-free, pain-free life. I remember sitting a retreat at Spirit Rock, and the retreat had ended. I was on my way to work because I worked at Spirit Rock for about 9 years. So I was on my way to work, and there's a pasture of cows as you're driving to Spirit Rock. And I had just made the choice to eat a vegan diet. And as I was passing this pasture of cows, it was morning, and there was a part of the pasture that was kind of plunged in the cold. The sun hadn't quite reached that part of the pasture. I remember seeing a cow, and I get up, and start heading towards the sun. And I thought, if I was that cow, I wouldn't want to be in the cold either. It was just a recognition that, these sentient beings long for comfort. And are we using them in ways that creates undue harm and stress for themselves? So the Buddha was like, don't trade in weapons, meat production and butchery, poisons, intoxicants, or living beings, right? So again, he was very specific. That includes not raising animals for slaughter or butchery, not trading in living beings, prostitution, slavery. And this country was founded on, genocide, slavery. And if we can turn toward that, the dukkha of that, honestly, we can start to metabolize that. And with that energy, start to make amends so that we're not constantly haunted by our past actions that keep erupting in this affliction that the Buddha was talking about, this causing of harm. So you can hear the different ways of acquiring our money that are wholesome or unwholesome, are unwholesome. The underlying principle, not causing harm. And this is an expression of wisdom. This is an expression of a heart mind that is attuned to what's beneficial. Beneficial not only for ourselves, not only for others, not only for both ourselves and others, but the entire world, all sentient life. And you can include our beautiful planet, which there's an aliveness in trees, in soil, in the fungi, the system of communication that's between trees that's facilitated by fungi. This planet is alive. So how do we do what's beneficial for our planet as well? Those are some brief reflections on wise livelihood. Again, there's no part of our lives that the Dhamma does not and cannot touch. Yeah.